Yeah! Welcome once again to the weekly installment of our journey through Wayne Jacobsen's book, He Loves Me. This I know, for the Bible tells me so. Just saying. Anyways, this week we're in chapter 11, and it's a little bit shorter chapter. And it's actually all about obedience, in a way. It starts off with a quote from Catherine Marshall, and it says, "He risked daring the experiment of giving us the freedom to make good or bad decisions, to live decent or evil lives, because God doesn't want the forced obedience of slaves. Instead, he covets the voluntary love and obedience of sons and daughters who love him for himself." It makes a certain amount of sense. Yes. I mean, if you have somebody who loves you, you want them to love you for you. I want to be loved for me. I don't want to be loved for what I provide or because somebody's, feels like they have to. I don't want somebody, just saying. Unless you're working for me or something, in case, I don't necessarily want you to, you have to then because I'm paying you. But you understand what I mean, right? We're babbling, you're babbling, I'm babbling, I understand. Anyways, this chapter here, he spends almost entirely revolving around the events that took place in the garden with the fall. And there's some things to take note of in there. With regards to the fall, could God have prevented it? Yes, of course he could have. He could have kept the serpent out of the garden. He could have prevented that whole meeting from happening. He could have intervened during, because, where do you think he was during? Do you think he was in heaven doing paperwork? He didn't see what was going on? Like, just putting that out there, omnipresent. All right? He knew what was happening. He could have scared them. Right? He said, you'll have the knowledge of good and evil type of thing. You'll surely die. You'll die if you eat from this. He didn't mean, if you're going to eat from this tree that you're going to... What he meant was you're going to know pain and fear and suffering and disease and shame and broken relationships and broken lives and broken dreams and hardship. That's what he meant. Your innocence will be gone permanently. And not just yours, but your children and their children and their children. Right? He had told them that, which was the truth, they would have been terrified. They would have avoided that thing like the plague. Serpent said, "Hey, you want to go eat?" They would have bludgeoned that sucker with a stick. Just saying. No, I know lots of people who bludgeon snakes like that. By the way, they put that out there. But yeah. He could have done that, but he didn't. So when Satan came up and said, "Hey, you'll have the knowledge of good and evil just like he will," he made it sound like God was holding out on them. That God couldn't be trusted somehow. That, he was being deceptive. He wasn't. All he was doing was protecting them, but giving them a choice as well. See, he explains the details. They're scared. He could have forced them. Could have not had it there in the first place. Why wouldn't he take that tree and stick it on the other side of the planet somewhere? Throw it up on the moon. Chances are they're not going to get there, Wait for Neil Armstrong to find it. Just saying. But he didn't. He didn't because love involves choice. Trust involves choice. And there's an obedience that comes out of trust and comes out of love that fear and being robotic can't give you. There's an old question: would you rather be feared or loved? It's better to be loved, because if you're feared, eventually fear will turn to rebellion and they'll come against you. And then you have reason to be afraid. But with love, they'll fight for you till their dying breath. So if you have any, if you're watching this and you're working towards world domination as a career choice, better to be loved than feared. And if you attain that, hey, shout out, remember babe, woo, just saying. But yeah, it's so there was a reason why this happened, because he had to give them the choice. Choose to trust him or not. They made a bad choice. Just putting it out there. But we have the chance to make those choices. Every day, we have the choice to trust him or not trust him. The problem is we have an enemy that is a bit deceptive and is kind of, well, let's face it, he's really good at it. Taking 90% truth and throwing 10% lie in and making it absolutely lethal. Because when he said you're not going to die, you're just going to have the knowledge of good and evil, he wasn't lying. He was being honest, but the implication that went with that was the lie, and that put the wedge between them and God, and everything fell apart at the seams. Going into the book here, the author writes that Adam and Eve's sin was not what they wanted, to be like God. There's not. Can you think of a worse thing in the world to want? Can you think of a better thing to be? Right? But it's how they went about getting it. Would they trust God, or would they reach out and take it for themselves? That was the problem. They made the choice to not trust God and instead to pursue it on their own, and things didn't work out well. Not at all, historically speaking, putting it out there. Got my pen stuck in my book. Hate when that happens. It'll either stay there or it won't, you know what I mean? But the author also makes the point here that nothing is more dangerous than taking that which is clearly true to prove a point which is not. Mixing a little lie with a lot of truth is like hiding cyanide in Kool-Aid. You can't tell it's there until you drink it, and by then it's too late. And he also mentions that at the root of most sin stands the same excuse: I know best. I can get what I want on my own and not get hurt. I can do this apart from God. I don't need God. I can get this on my own. I can have that job and that relationship, and I can do this, and I can go here and go there and accomplish this, that, and the other thing, and I can do that all on my own. I'm a big boy, and I can do it all by myself. This is a big boy telling you, you try doing it all on your own, all by yourself, things are not going to end well. I have got a list of stuff I could give you. This book wouldn't contain enough, okay? And I'm pretty sure you can probably relate, But anyways, that's basically the whole point of the book, is that, well, not the book, but the chapter, is that God's not looking for people who are going to obey him and love him and trust him because they have to, or he's going to, right? And he's not looking for them to trust and love and obey him, because they have no choice. Because real love and real trust has to have a choice. You have to have the choice to trust. You have to have the choice to love. Otherwise, it's not real. It's control and manipulation. But it's not choice. It's not love. So anyways, that is, in a nutshell, chapter 11. Just putting it out there. There's a lot to think about, Like, do we trust him because we think we have to? Are you following God right now because you think you have to? Are you scared of him and that's why you do it? You think you have no choice? Of course you have a choice. You don't have to worry about him being scared of him, Just saying. Something to think about, really. It is, it is. Anyways, at the end, of course, we always have this little reflection thing. It says, ask God to reveal to you where wedges of mistrust have been inserted between you and Him. Where do you find yourself doubting His love for you or His intentions? That's probably something worthwhile pursuing. If you're a praying person, you should pray that out. Are there places where you're not trusting in Him? Are you trying to do things on your own that you shouldn't be? Because if you are, that's a good chance they're going to go snowballing. Just some point. Anyways, that is, as I said, chapter 11. Yeah. So, as I say, boys and girls, we are all in this together. So, peace out.